Guys, look at that hair. Lots of huge news. The official Pulsification Network. We only get top-notch guests here. I mean, we only do top-notch here. We got BallietBran coming in. We got $194 million stakes for 555 brand. I mean, I'm over here doing my day job and just thinking, what in the hell is going on? Brand, your take.
Well, my take is that's very bullish, right? The Godwill in, let's see, I think it was April of last year, he had bought like 10,000 Ethereum worth of Hex on the market, and that had pumped up the price pretty significantly, and we'd never really dipped down since the last time he had bought that huge candle. As far as the 1 billion Hex goes, it makes me want to do like what's that, like gold member or something, 1 billion Hex. I mean, I don't know what else more to say. It's absolutely awesome. It's a vote of confidence, and especially with the Pulse chain right around the corner, they're going to get a duplicate of that as well. And for the fact that they did Quattro Cinco on that much Hex, not only does it go to show you that obviously they don't need to sell any of their assets, at least from what we can see, but it's once again just a vote of confidence for the people that may have, for whatever reason, had doubts or questions.
HexLuthor, Brand, thank you for that. HexLuthor, I'm going to ask both you guys this actually, because I'm not the best with technicals. $194 million stakes 5555. What does it do to the price? I don't really get it. Like, I understand that it's bullish and it goes, up and to the right, the whole thing. But at the same time, physically, what does it do to the price? Because it doesn't just necessarily go up when you stake that.
Absolutely nothing. Like, price action in my knowledge, from my knowledge, staking does absolutely nothing to the price directly, but it removes the external negative, or the negative externality of sell pressure, right? So it allows the price to move exponentially when buyers start coming in mass and volume. What do you think, Brand?
That's why we have HexLuthor in here right now. That's what I need him for, exactly. because no, seriously, because I think there's a lot of people misguided out there, and I'm a little more educated than I'm making it seem, but I think there's some people misguided about these stakes and how they actually work when it comes to price action. But what us three at the panel are just happy about is the social consensus, the belief in the project. That's really what we're looking at here. We got a guy on here putting his balls on the line, 194 million for a 555. What? Are you out of your mind? I'd give that dude a beer any day. I don't know who it is, but anyway. So no, it's just, it makes me exude confidence in the project. And imagine that's all happening before he's making a new chain. It's like, could anything better be happening right now? What do you guys feel about just like what's going on right now? I don't even know if I can really necessarily believe it, but like, how are you guys feeling about right now? RH, a bullish stream. Let's talk about all of it.
Well, yeah, I guess I will kind of answer HexLuthor's kind of reciprocation of that question. Yeah, so the staking immediately doesn't necessarily, pump up the price, right? Because he already had that Hex, and he's just burning it for the set time of the Quattro Cinco. But yeah, what that does is it just means that, hey, there's less supply on the market, yesterday as there was the day before, when people thought that there was a billion more Hex. But in reality, that was just in their control, and they just happened to stake it for that long. So yeah, it's just kind of like, once again, like a vote of confidence. And then once again, the whole point of Hex is like, yeah, the supply and demand. And when you're staking it, you are reducing that supply and burning it until, it's reminted into the future. As far as everything else goes, I would say that I'm extremely bullish, right? As far as we talked a little bit about Richard's stream with the money gun and stuff like that. And it's just exciting. It feels like how Hex did when we first launched with Hex, where it was, 4 more weeks, and then it finally got to like a pinnacle or a tipping point where it's like, okay, they've got about 90% of the stuff done, it seems.
What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I mean, the excitement is real, but I'm still at that point where I'm forgetting about posts kind of because I've put it out of my mind and I don't want to think about it because I'll spend sleepless nights doing maths in my head. So
He says that, but this man grinds harder than just about
I
anyone.
am working my butt off here
Yeah,
too on the back end. So yeah, we're doing things outside that you guys don't see, but there's a lot of work that we're putting in just to continue the effort for outreach and onboarding. And just recently, I mean, today I was distracted by people calling me that have started to see my videos that I've known in my personal life, and they're asking me to teach them more and how, you know, to onboard them basically. Now they're coming to me and they're texting me, they're calling me. It's crazy. So today was just a crazy day of onboarding for me.
Yeah, I can tell it's a crazy day because usually me and HexLuthor text back and forth like all day long. Well, you know, of course at work I'm not texting all day long, but but anyway, you know what I mean? In your experience, Bran, when it comes to onboarding and as you've moved forward with your streaming, so I want to talk about those two things in particular, the streaming and as you're on, because you probably started onboarding before really you had an internet presence, I assume, but maybe not. When you started streaming and people from your live, has anyone from your life actually injected themselves into the scene because of your streaming that you wouldn't have thought?
Definitely. Yeah, similar to HexLuthor's point. So yeah, when I used to work at CenturyLink, like maybe 5 years ago, one of the coworkers that I was working with, so it was me and there's two other guys, but one of the guys, his name is Leon. He had owned a like a precious metals store and a jewelry store, and he's kind of the first person that got me really interested into like investing and some of those other things. But yeah, so him and my my old boss Olga will be doing kind of like onboarding in person, you know, maybe in like a week and a half from now. As far as other people, yeah, I've had other people, because the cool thing about being able to multicast like the stream into, you know, Facebook and YouTube, the cool thing about that is you reach sometimes a different audience that you maybe didn't have before. So long story short, yeah, I've had a lot of people reach out, and you know, it's tough because like HexLuthor mentioned, sometimes you already kind of have like a set schedule of what you want to do, and then like in a good way, I guess it kind of gets interrupted by, you know, some people that, you know, want to have a million questions answered at the same time. And so that's kind of tough sometimes with the time management, but you kind of just have to set expectations on how to properly onboard them.
And as your time gets more valuable as you move forward, there's just no doubt about it. As you get older and start doing more, your time in turn becomes more valuable. Therefore, every second that you are onboarding, in the beginning, everything's free, fun, and good. And everything's free, fun, and good, but at some time, time is the problem, right? Time is the currency with onboarding. I just try my best to get people in groups, but I really learned onboarding, you can tell if someone's ready. Like I beat my head against the wall with dudes that were like on the fence, but really never going to invest. So I let people come to me a little more. And now that I have the channel, just like I asked you, I mean, there's people that I would have never thought reaching out to me and just asking for more questions. And I'm just inviting them on the stream. I'm just like, come on the stream, we'll talk about it. Because I'm trying to outsource all this to the internet. It's much easier.
So true.
What about you, Luther? What do you think about onboarding, your time during the day? Because we're all passionate about onboarding and where that fits into your schedule and like how you do things.
I'm still at the point where I'm willing to, if people reach out, I'm willing to help them. Like I can make the time for them. It may not be as much time as I used to be able to give them, but I'm still going to give them the resources and take a little bit of time to anybody that reaches out to me. I don't care who it is. I may give a little bit more time to people that I know, right? But at the end of the day, I still want to help them. So it just makes my day go that much quicker because I'm that much busier, I guess. But I'm not completely swamped with that as of yet.
Yeah, like the thing about what we do now is it's kind of like we onboard. We just do hex stuff. So it's like if somebody wants to jump into a Zoom call while we're all Zoom calling, like you could just kill two birds with one stone. Why I started going on the internet was just to learn about hex. Then I was on the internet to onboard hex, and now I'm just working on the internet and talking about hex, and it's just like there's no more value. You can't find more value. Like I think we're all here for the same reason. There's no more if there was value, and I'm not talking about crypto, I'm just talking about value. If there was value somewhere else, we'd be reading about it. We'd be learning about it. We would be studying it. We'd be asking people for paid groups and all these things. we are here. We found it. And everyone kind of knows that. Like even the plebs know that. Like they know crypto's but it's such an intimidating topic. What do you say to the people that are looking to get into crypto, don't know a darn thing, Bran, want some hex? Do you think it's better to get in and then learn, or maybe learn and get in, or does it depend on the person?
Yeah, I guess it does kind of depend on the person. For me, I've had a lot of success. I know some people kind of talk about this dichotomy, but yeah, I've had a lot of success onboarding like no coiners versus people that were kind of already into crypto, because sometimes there's just a heavy bias that kind of comes with that. But to answer your question, do you kind of, educate them before you kind of onboard them? And I would say it's kind of like both. If someone, especially if they're not into crypto, they're obviously going to need somewhere to onboard from fiat, whether it's their bank account or their debit card, whatever. And so kind of throughout that process, yeah, you can kind of educate them on why cryptocurrency itself as an asset class that you mentioned is the top appreciating asset class in the world, and it's not something that's really gone away. It's kind of just, I guess, changed in forms, if you will. But this isn't something that's going away. And when you have something like Hex and, these Richard Hart projects and products that are just so innovative, then yeah, if someone's interested in getting in, I say it really behooves you to kind of educate them, but also even if they don't get it, try and get them onboarded, and then maybe they'll get it in like a month or two once they have seen some results.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people kind of need time anyway, and I guess I am getting to that point where I expect them to do some research and some legwork on their own before I even try to outreach anymore, because of that time aspect, I would say. But again, that doesn't hurt them. It helps them more when they come to me with at least a base understanding of what they need to be doing. Like today's phone call that I got was great because he already told me, hey, I went to hex.com, I found the 4 steps I need to do, I got this done, I got that done, so how do I get my ETH over to that address? And from there it was so easy.
You ask guys like that for their number because they just get, I love guys like that. I love guys like that. And I'm not saying I've always been a guy like that either. I haven't. There's been times in my life where I was the opposite of that guy, the opposite of a go-getter. Hurt, ashamed, fearful, never thinking that I could do something influential, never even peeking at the idea. And I'm not saying it's for any reason in particular. I don't know why it is. But guess what? If you learn as you go, okay, we've all made it to this point, right? Then we got to Richard Hart, right? He taught us delayed gratification. And if we didn't already know that to a degree, he hammered it in us forcefully with inflation. I mean, he's literally like, here's so many rewards that I'm going to teach you how to wait. And I just think that's incredible. I have a question for both of you, and I want you to answer it separately. My parents, I have a feeling they're watching, okay? They think I'm a little crazy, Bran. They think I'm a little crazy. Luthor, they think I'm a little crazy. They know I've always been a little crazy. When we're talking about Hex in particular, let's not get into Pulse Chain with the parents, that's another rabbit hole. My parents understand a certificate of deposit, and they don't understand the blockchain. Can you just explain to them why, in the most broad way you could, this technology is here to stay and why there is no rug pull?
I guess I'll just say something without like obviously bringing politics and stuff into it. But so you'd seen kind of what happened most recently with certain funds that were raised, and then the actual entity itself, the middleman, had been kind of targeted, and the funds were kind of shut down. I think it's important to have something that is, that, as they say, like censorship resistant and kind of immutable when it comes to being able to have something that's like a store of value, or just being able to, because I know from my girlfriend, she's from Venezuela. I've seen her send money from like Venezuela to Spain, or sorry, America to Venezuela, or America to Spain. And you just see the whole time, it's as Richard says, like there's just a plethora of middlemen that are just here to take a fee, and then at the end of the day, like maybe $100, I don't know, maybe it's like 60 or something, whatever the conversion is. So as far as it being here to stay, I mean, it definitely is. If you look at even Bitcoin, like just like with the internet, right? A lot of people in the 90s, oh, the internet, it's only used for drugs and money laundering. And then they said the same thing about Bitcoin, but then, 13 years later, Bitcoin's still here.
And nobody judges you for investing in Bitcoin, do they? Brand, if you went into an office full of workers and said, hey guys, I'm going to teach you about investing in Bitcoin, they'd all listen.
Well, and that's all, yeah.
It's crazy because, the average. And then you're like, wait, you wait so long that it's old tech. And then Pomp tells you to buy his bags. I mean, basically, you know what I mean? All the big guys, they tell you to buy their bag. Well, I actually do have, this question is important to me, so I'm going to go ahead and defer to Luther real quick on this one. My parents, they're watching Luther. We're business partners. They think I'm a little crazy. I'm going to keep it calm. But as far as investing, am I doing the right thing?
Well, I'm not a financial advisor, but then again, kind of the old financial advice is out the window with crypto. So it's a brand new world that we're delving into. But no, I don't think you're crazy. You've got a whole community of at least 76,000 stakers now that agree that you're not crazy either. How many wallets do we have?
I'll check that right now.
300,000 something people that have, or at least wallet addresses that have purchased Hex. I would imagine they don't think you're crazy either. Crypto is here and it's here to stay, and Hex especially because it's immutable. The code is locked. It's not going away. The only thing that could take it away would be what? A catastrophic event to take the internet down, right?
An enigma.
So I would say it's crazy to think that crypto is crazy and Hex specifically. But I don't want to insult your parents. I don't want to insult them.
I think Motley always says, I think people that invest in anything but Hex are taking a risk. That's what Motley said that to me early on, and it really struck a chord with me. I was like, wow, what an interesting concept. So HexLuthor, mom, dad, HexLuthor just gave it to you straight, immutable, good investing. Your son's doing good, okay?
Like what I tell my friends and family personally, I say it's irresponsible not to invest.
Oh yeah.
Because that's how I see it.
You get wrecked. You get wrecked by inflation, 14%. What you're buying is 7% more. What you have is 7% less. And you didn't get paid 14% more from last year. You got paid the same probably. Yep. So where are we at? And when I bring this up to boomers, older people, they look at you like you're an ungrateful son of a gun. And I'm over here like, I'll sit in my room for the rest of my life if no one bothers me. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to be bothered. I want financial freedom. I want the options. I want to be able to build a business as I move forward and have the funding to do that myself. Because as we learned from Richard Hart, having the funding on your end, whether he had investors or not, it frees up. You're not in debt. You're not fighting to make money. You're not like, if I don't make $1 right now, I'm screwed. I'm going to get all these links out and all this stuff. No, it's an organic thought ethos. The whole thing was thought into it. And that's personally what I like about Hex the most. Let's transition into NASCAR. Guys, I don't watch NASCAR. I'm a gym rat. Come on. But I'm going to ask you guys, what do you know about this NASCAR stuff? I know the wheels were on the ground today. I know all the equipment looked amazing. What do you guys think?
So yeah, it's awesome. Most Agape, Hex, and Motley, when they were first talking, the opportunity was presented to Agape, and they said like, hey, there's an extra spot for a car available. Do you know a company that can kind of help co-sponsor? And it's just cool because it's kind of like a cliche now where he's like, no, I don't know a company, I know a community. But once again, it goes to show you the power, I would say, of the Hexicans, the Hex community, a lot of the financial backing behind it. So many people, they look at other people and they want them to make these promises and they want them to put in the work. But I love the fact that the community is like they're self-starters and they're go-getters. So they're constantly kind of seeing how they can help the community and get the message out to the rest of the people. The other thing I will say is, yeah, I know that there's a little bit of a qualification for kind of like racing your way into the actual NASCAR race itself for the Daytona, I think, which is on Sunday. But either way, I'm looking forward to it, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I think it is kind of a gamble to put that much money on that type of marketing, to be honest. And if it pays off, it pays off. But like, if anybody caught Richard's stream today, he advocated for direct marketing rather than the paid advertising that you're seeing.
Explain that for me, HexLuthor?
So direct marketing is just, you know, from you to the other person's ear, basically. So social media is direct marketing. That would be considered direct marketing. The YouTube stream that we're doing right now is direct marketing. Brochures, flyers, even stickers, anything physical in the mail or that you're, you know, talking one-on-one to people or groups, that's direct marketing. The advertising that you're seeing with the NASCAR is paid marketing. And so that's through a media channel that you don't really control the whole message. You're only showing, you know, the hex.com, the 5.5, the 38% APY. So you don't get to give them the full message, and you don't have a chance to really educate your, I would say, customer, but not really customer, because we're not, you know, owners of the company or anything.
A little more spammy, a little more just look at it.
It's just getting the message, or at least the logo and the imprint in people's minds, but it's not as effective. But yeah. Go ahead, Brandon. You have something.
Oh, okay. Well, it's interesting that you say that, and I do appreciate you saying that, because I did forget about that. I only watched the Richard thing for maybe like 5 minutes, but you're right about the direct to mail or just the direct to consumer type of marketing. I know that someone, I don't know who, but they had used for like the ledger, right? There was like a whole bunch of KYC information that was leaked, like 10,000 addresses or something. But some Hexagon had done it was like Pulse Chain and for Hex, similar to your point, like a direct mail where they'd received it. It's got the unique benefit statement, all of that. So that is a good addition. I agree to the NASCAR, right? And the cool thing is that the community itself is so like, once again, such go-getters and so innovative that yeah, we can do the NASCAR, but yeah, once again, we should also focus on all of the different forms, not just one.
Yep, I agree. I did want to bring up, did anyone read Rackham Rishel's tweet today? Did they see that? It has to do with the NASCAR event. I thought it was pretty cool. I got excited and then I tagged the wrong person in it. Because I retweeted it out. Yeah. So Rackham posted, breaking, Overwatch Partners owner Rackham Rishel is challenging JJ Yele. Is that how you say his name? Yele? I don't know. Finish top 3. So if he finishes top 3 in the Daytona 500 on Sunday, he'll receive a $1 million crypto bonus directly from the Overwatch Partners. That is pretty cool. So now he's got an even bigger incentive to at least place in the top 3. Which would put Hex on the map a little bit larger, right? It would improve the marketing effort there. I don't know how many fold, but at least a few X's, right?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, dude.
This whole NASCAR thing is really blowing my mind. What you can do with a couple of guys with a little bit of vigor and a little bit of Hex in their staker, it's like, you really can, when you put minds together that are motivated and confident, and a lot of the people that really put themselves out there on stream, I'm going to say this for everyone because this is a really good point in my opinion. When people decide to put themselves on stream, they're doing it for a reason. They feel like they should be there and they want to practice. They want to try something new, or they have fears. You know, as far brand as you, and let's go to both of you guys on this. I'm a non-fearful guy when it comes to social interaction. Obviously, I have fears, of course. But socially, I just don't have that. Like, it's just like I can walk into a room, I don't feel any kind of anxiety. I'm going to assume the average person's not like that, okay? As you started working into streaming, what were some of the sticking points as far as just your personality? Were you telling yourself to stop? Because I know a lot of people and myself, I was kind of telling myself, maybe I shouldn't do this.
That's a good question. So for me, it honestly wasn't as kind of similar to you, where like it wasn't as tough of a deal to like start streaming, because I was always passionate from like a very young age of just like videoing myself or just vlogging stuff that I thought was cool. But yeah, as far as the stream stuff goes, I mean, yeah, I would say that kind of like the biggest thing is, yeah, once again, getting over yourself. You know, you can be your worst enemy as far as you might have a great idea, but then your negative self-talk can just want to shut that down without even ever attempting it or starting it. So I think sometimes if people like are ambitious or they do have that want to just like get out there and do it and you know, no one's going to be perfect their first one. Like, I still have my first streams. I don't think I've deleted one, you know.
I love that you keep those up, by the way.
Yeah. Well, it's just a reminder because once again, you might, it's just like, as you know, like with the weightlifting and stuff, like, you know, if you go to the gym one time, well, great, you know, you didn't do much, but it's the consistency over, you know, multiple times that you get better, and you don't realize it, how bad it was until you go back to the first ones and you're like, damn, there's a lot of improvement.
It's insane to watch. What about you, Luther?
I streamed about maybe 10 years ago. I started a channel with a friend. It was just a gaming kind of stream, and then life moved on. I moved.
You ever get anywhere with that?
We started to a little bit, but we gave it up too quick, I think. We were being consistent, but because, you know, life circumstances, I stopped. And I never thought about streaming again. And it was funny because when I took Joker's call to action to join the villains, I didn't know what I would be doing. I just knew I wanted to provide value to the community, and Joker was offering me an avenue to do that with. So when I took him up on that and had my first call with him and started talking to him, he just asked, "Are you willing to stream?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" and from there, it wasn't ever my intention to start streaming again. It was not. But because that was the request and I had the ability, I just decided to do it. But I did go through that little bit that you were talking about where I was like, you know, maybe I don't want to do this, and maybe, you know, it'd be better off just to stay in the background and provide value somewhere else. But at the end of the day, every stream I've done, I've received so much positive feedback. I can't stop now. I don't want to stop.
Yeah, it's crazy because with streaming, it's like people see me with this role, right? But this is just a certain role. Like, this just happens to be the person I kind of am. I amp it up a little bit for the stream, but, you know, nothing crazy. I try to be myself. But it's like, Luther is not, me and Luther's personality, not exactly the same, you know, a little bit different. But I see him in the same way that he probably sees me. I'm like, man, what a good middleman. Like, he could talk, he could really just be calm and just get between two people, where I am very more showy, more excited. I can't really think about what I'm going to say. And then, you know, if everyone can really, Gerardo does his thing. He's more analytical. Like, he doesn't break off of that. That's his thing, you know? Like, everyone has their thing, guys. If you're on here and you're watching and you want to do something, just do it. We would like your help. I would like your help.
Reach out to us.
Me. If you can do anything, I would like your help, or maybe a suggestion. Like, I'll say, oh, it took me 4 hours to learn how to Photoshop. Now HexLuthor helps me with that. And, you know, that's called working together. Guys, we can work together. We're all going to be in this for a long time. Please, please do not burn bridges. Why? Bran, I would be so devastated if we burn the bridge. You know what I mean? For something, oh, Bran, in 5 years, Bran sells 10% of his bags, so I just hate him. Like, and then I go on stream and I'm just like, oh, Bran's a piece of crap because he wanted to just be set for life. Like, no, guys, it's money. We're here for the same reason. Let's just work together, guys. We can make this. We can do this right now. We can, you know, and that's what I've been thinking about a lot. Like, a lot of the fighting. I mean, I don't know what it's about. I don't really look into it. I'm too busy tweeting about bodybuilding stuff. But what do you guys think about the overall sentiment? I mean, other than the little tiffing, like, as we move forward, Pulse Chain comes out. Is it just a free-for-all brand?
I would say so. Yeah, it seems that way as far as free for all goes. I mean, we've already kind of seen it a little bit with Pulse Chain first coming out, that Richard wasn't stopping at Hex, you know, and obviously Pulse Chain, since it's a blockchain, it's so much more different than Hex, which is a smart contract. As far as the, like, yeah, keeping it mature, keeping it stuff like that, I agree. I mean, nothing is, in my opinion, nothing is more immature than, especially if you already kind of have like some sort of like clout, I guess, in the community and stuff. Nothing's more immature as far as like how a person is and their style of communication when they just scream from the frickin' mountain on Twitter, as opposed to like, hey, dude, if you got a problem, like, direct message the person. Like, you know, don't bring this drama and stuff in here. I think it's just immature, and I don't think people like to hear that. Sometimes that kind of happens when the price is chopping sideways or down and sideways, or people get anxious.
Is that a bottom signal? Is that a bottom signal to you?
I would say pretty damn close. Yeah.
It seems like one to me, right? Like, if you look at the market psychology of the ups and downs, and you take that into the price chart, the anger phase is pretty close to a bottom signal in my head, right? So that's what I'm looking at, and that's what we kind of went with the theme of the thumbnail for today, because we want to talk about not only just Hex and where we think the bottom is at there, but the crypto market as a whole is taking a different direction, and we could talk a little bit about that if you guys don't mind.
I agree. That's such a good part. I'm gonna hand this off to Bran for the majority of this kind of more technical talk, but yeah, Bran, just take it away. I don't even really know how to do this.
Bran, what do you think about like Bitcoin and Ethereum? Where do you think they're headed in the short term, and then maybe within 6 months to a year?
Right. You know, I do kind of. It's not like I like just blindly follow Richard, but I follow. I've been following him for 5 years. I kind of listen to what he says and some of his logic, and yeah, who the hell is going to be buying right now? Like he mentions all these different topping signals, whether it's with Bitcoin or whether it's with Ethereum, or just not maybe even topping signal, but like, hey, before we make another run up, things like this, like, you know, we kind of gotta, once again, a market has its cycle. You kind of have to down chop and then, you know, sideways consolidate, and then yeah, get rid of some of those, you know, people that, you know, once again, kind of wash out. As far as all of that goes, I would kind of say I'm in kind of a similar boat with Richard, that I think we are in a bear market. I don't really see much positivity as far as a lot of the price action per se with Bitcoin and Ethereum go, but as far as numbers and prices and where it's going to bounce and where it's got support and stuff, that's really not kind of my you know, my specialty. It's just kind of like the bigger picture of what I can see. And yeah, I think that some of those things might be a little bit overvalued or overhyped, or at least with some of the things they could use some consolidation for sure.
So what's your take on people that, I don't know, claim to know? Because I honestly don't claim to know either. I can get a gauge for the sentiment and what I think and where I think we're at, which is, I think we're at the kind of, you know, we've been in that bear market for, what is it, 6-7 months now since that Bitcoin top? I can't remember how long exactly. But my personal feeling is we're due for a little bit longer, and maybe even a lot longer. But then again, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. What do you think about that?
I think that, to be honest, I don't think it's going to be as catastrophic as maybe prophesized, but it's Max Payne's coming.
Yeah, we haven't seen a market like what, 2017 since 2017. So
I think Max Payne's coming, and I think it's as clear as day. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to say I don't claim, I'm just looking at what I know and the resources that I've looked at. I've never really dived into this. But guys, please, people are still selling JPEGs. Not that I don't like JPEGs. I have a lot of NFT friends now. I have a lot of NFT friends now. Guys, please, I love your NFTs. And seriously, they light my heart up. But just the value proposition, in my opinion, just the value at this moment in the market doesn't really make sense. It's like no one's buying Bitcoin right now. People are buying NFTs. Like it just, and then, you know, all these people are fighting bottom signal anger. I don't feel it because I'm streaming and I'm really ecstatic to be doing what I'm doing. So maybe I'm kind of bypassing it. All I feel is God and glory in my heart all day long. But yeah, it's crazy. I think we're going for Max Payne. I think we will go into that 15K region I don't want to say for sure. I don't know. But if you look at the chart and all the things Richard said, that's where my money would go. Okay. But I don't know.
It's true. Well, yeah. And then sometimes, like, if you've got a really good opportunity, I mean, I know Hex kind of launched in a bear market, some of these things, but you might have, when say Pulse Chain launches or certain things, you might have some people that, because nothing is worse than holding a bag, whether it was with me, with Litecoin or Bitcoin, holding a bag like 90% all the way down. And so sometimes there might be people that didn't maybe know about, say, the Pulse Chain or some of these other things, that they might jump ship from their losses that they already have and kind of jump onto the newer, you know, shinier thing, which I think has a lot of reasons behind it, right? It's not just vaporware as far as Pulse Chain goes. There's a lot of legitimacy for people to be excited and maybe jump ship. I mean, once again, same thing, not investment advice and stuff, but I've heard Richard say that, you know, hey, if you really loved your Bitcoin so much, you would have sold that for Hex, and then you could have had like 1,000 times more. So it's just an interesting dichotomy. And like HexLuthor mentions, I mean, hey, I don't have a crystal ball and you know, direct answers and stuff, but you can kind of see some of the sentiment, and at least with certain communities, when they're just absolutely certain that the price can never go down from there, I think you're kind of just dealing with a lot of naive and ignorant investors. So that's all I want to say about that.
Yeah. And
did you catch anything in the RH stream that was, I feel like I watched the RH stream. It sounded bullish on the timing. Do you guys think it did too?
I hope so. I was kind of half listening, honestly, and it was only 15 minutes long, and I kind of left disappointed. I heard his message about direct marketing, and then he mentioned a few things on the timing for that. Testnet version 3 isn't going to take very long to test. That to me was bullish because I was thinking it would be another month or two once testnet v3 rolls out. So yes, if they're really close to v3, I think, you know, 4 more weeks. What do you think, Brad?
Yeah, my bad. I was looking at the chat. I totally agree. Richard's talked a lot about, yeah, like you mentioned, the 4 more weeks meme, which is hilarious. It's true. I mean, it does feel that because once again, whether it's a smart contract, which is what Hex is, or whether it's a blockchain, which is what Pulse Chain is, the being able to accurately guess the time that it's going to take is just impossible, especially with kind of taking some of the things from what Ethereum 2.0 wants to do and Binance and all that stuff. But yeah, as far as it goes, I mean, I agree. It does seem that we're kind of, if you kind of have like a halfway point and then beyond the halfway point, it seems that we're way beyond that halfway point. You know, maybe, you know, not too many more weeks. Yeah, like you said, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. I'd love to see maybe a launch in like the March timeframe, or just whenever obviously it's ready, which no one can kind of know. But it seems that they're at least making a lot of headway. I mean, Richard has shown the UI, right, for the Pulse X staking and some of these things that kind of, they're like breadcrumbs, you know, and I love it. It's going to be awesome to see. And when it launches, man, all hell's going to break loose in a good way.
I can't wait. I doubt anyone else can wait, but we have to, right? We got no choice. Hey, Paola Rose in the chat had a good question. She says, what triggered the bear market? So in your opinion, Bran, what do you think is kind of the cause of this bear market?
You know, it's interesting. I wouldn't say one thing specifically. I mean, I guess it's just kind of like the way that I think of it is, yeah, kind of like those dominoes, like that cascading effect that Richard talks about, where more buy pressure kind of leads into more buy pressure, but then whether it's one big whale or whether it's just the timing of the market cycle itself. Like, I don't care if it's real estate and people are like, oh, what caused the real estate? You know, it's sometimes it's kind of like just a time in its cycle and things like that. But yeah, as far as one specific thing goes, I really don't have any answers. But all I can say is that it just seems, when you look at some of the buy pressure and some of these things, that it seems to be dwindling now more so than it was when maybe the price was at like 60,000 and stuff, and people are getting excited. So a lot of that excitement seems to have waned away, and it seems that maybe there's more sellers than buyers right now with some of the price action we've seen, at least.
Yep. And then at the macro level, though, I mean, if you look at finance as a whole throughout the world, the signs were kind of on the, written on the wall. So, you've got what is the Bitcoin trust called? Grayscale? If you were watching Grayscale closely at all, you could see that there was the negative premium in their trust for months and months and months, right? And that to me was the top signal as well. That helped you.
Can you explain that a little better for me? Sorry.
So the Grayscale stuff? I don't know. Go ahead.
It's all right if you don't know exactly.
I don't know it really well. I've listened to enough videos and I've done my own research enough to understand that when you have the negative premium, so you have institutional buyers that are buying the Grayscale trust, which is kind of like a faux Bitcoin, right? You're not actually buying the Bitcoin itself, and they're dumping all their money into that market instead of the Bitcoin market. In order to keep the premiums profitable, Grayscale started selling Bitcoin on the top. Yep. Wow. So they became a net seller during this whole time, this last 6, 7, 8 months. Yep.
And so the premium just separates.
Yep.
That's insanity, dude. So people are getting wrecked out there. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You're looking into the camera.
And if you're not paying attention to that, you could get caught off guard. But because we had people in the community telling us to look at it, well, those who were looking at it had the heads up.
My opinion on the bear market, and this is just all from my brain. I ain't no special thinker, but it seems like it's all psychological. Like once people get enough money for long enough, they get lax enough and they lose a little bit of it. Unless you're sharp. Like when you're sharp and you practice these things, like we're on here every day. There's zero chance we're FOMOing our bags. Like, dumping our bag. Like for a FOMO, you know what I mean? Like you take a little off the top, but nothing is going to, if it went to 2 cents, we would all be buying. We would be sitting at our computer hammering away at the keys. And you all guys, you know that. If you're anything like me, I'd be getting everything I know because, and that sounds crazy, but when you're fighting against such a powerful inflation and it's so far out and I have to think about my future, I get worried. I'm diluted 14% in 1 year. Like, okay, I'm gonna get a normal ass job and do what? Make 80 grand, which turns into 30 in a year and a half.
Ouch.
Really? Like that is not right. And that, Bran, this is one of the reasons we want to have girls on, because I'm not saying girls don't know about finance, but I'm saying average investor is man. An average investor is a man. The average person is a man between like 20 and 40 or whatever the age is. It's not women. We want to have women on here. Yes, it's fun. Yes, we might be drinking a little, but really we just want to educate the people around us. What do you think about women, Bran? Where do you think, like, as you've onboarded and the girls in your life, the family, are they catching on? Do you think they have a shot at getting into Hex and being able to learn about it organically? Or do you think it's going to be like everything else? All the guys get all the money and then the smart couple people, you know, the investors get all the money, gets diluted, and then all the plebs buy it.
Yeah, you're right. I would say the more the merrier. Bring them on, you know. When I go to the gym or just anywhere else, I'm kind of usually wearing some sort of Hex merch or, you know, at least kind of open to the idea if people are like, oh, what's Hex and things like that. As far as kind of like you mentioned, onboarding women and just getting, more people into crypto, I think that's, you know, a necessity, right? It's not just important to have, you know, a majority of this or a majority of that, kind of have a collectivism of all of it. So I think it just goes to show you how much more room there is to grow. And the thing that I will say is, out of all of the crypto communities that I participated in like the past 5 years, the Hex community definitely has the most women, hands down, that I've ever, you know, met and kind of experienced with. And that's really cool.
We're working on getting you more, boys. We're working on getting you more.
Yeah, the official Pulsification Network is making a statement right now, people. Clip it. Let's clip this.
Rackham, no women. This is the He-Man Woman Haters Club. Rookies. We didn't want to dilute what Bran had to bring on today. We will have more women for you, Rackham, very soon.
Oh, is Rackham in the chat?
Rackham's in the chat.
Rackham. Hey, Rackham, I don't know you, dude, but what? You are nuts, man. Hey, give it up for Rackham. I don't know who you are, but you seem cool as crap. I see all your pictures. You seem humble. You seem kind. That's all we like here at Official Pulsification. This is not a place for anger. I can take that out at the gym with the plebs, okay? Here is business, and we have a mission, guys, and Rackham is on top of that.
That's right. Rackham is doing a great work for all of us in the community and with Overwatch partners as well. So they're looking out for not only their bags but our bags too. And much respect to you, Rackham. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Seriously, thank you.
No, I want to, you know, say something on top of that as well, because once again, I'm on Twitter less than I used to be lately, and I didn't know about that $1 million incentive. I mean, how cool is it to, once again, kind of Hex kind of incentivizes people to, you know, stake today to invest in their future. But for Rackham to do that, that was pretty, you know, that's pretty awesome. So, you know, once again, shout out to him. And it's awesome to see kind of the coverage and everything with the Hex wrap. That would be so cool if we get into the top 3, win that thing. And
hey, if anything, that's just more motivation for him to win. And I hope he does, or at least places the top 3 so he can take that prize. So far, nobody has taken a prize that Rackham has offered yet.
Rackham only does high stakes, baby. He's like, you better make a move and I'll just give you the bag.
Yep.
That dude's a big time ball. I don't know his life, obviously. I don't know anything about anything. But like that guy, he seems humble and kind. And I don't know, did his comment, was it a +1 for the ladies or a -1?
Oh, everyone wants more ladies in the chat. Yeah, look.
Okay,
look.
well, Pulse Chain, the official Pulsification Network has an ethos. We want more women. I want beautiful women everywhere.
Everywhere.
Okay? Everywhere. You understand? That's really what we're thinking about in the green room. And it's not because we're one of, you know, it's part of the marketing. It's what we want to kind of bring to the table. This is business, guys. Let's do this. Like, you know what I mean? Let's get the girls in here. Let's stomp on all these ADA losers. Like, come on, let's get out.
No, for sure. That's our goal, and we will be bringing more women to you guys every week to get them onboarded. So if you want to hop in our live streams going forward and help us onboard, if there's questions we can't answer, please help us answer them. Or if you see an insight that we didn't hit us up in the chat, because that always helps.
For sure.
Well, yeah, and I want to say, you know, to I think it's Crypto Stylist that there's a handful. I mean, maybe her and maybe another girl, but it's awesome to see kind of like the women taking up the streaming. And Crypto Stylist had even mentioned it herself that it's easier for maybe sometimes the women to kind of have like another lady that they're hearing it from. Maybe it's just more receptive for them. But I want to say shout out to her for kind of helping onboard people and some of her friends too. I think that's it's definitely like Rakim said, you know, it's a community effort. And so It can't just be one person doing everything, right? It's got to be all of us collectively putting in the work. And you mentioned, Luther, that when you didn't really anticipate streaming, but you kind of just, you know, got in where you fit in type of deal and kind of found a niche and things that were working. I think that there's a whole bunch of people in the community that kind of want that same thing too, like how can I help and things like that. And so onboarding is obviously the biggest thing that we can do.
Yep, if you're not following me, if you're not following Bran, if you're not following GymRat, if you're not following anybody in the community, make sure you're following them and then shoot them a DM. My DMs are open. If you guys want to help and get involved, DM me. DM me on Twitter, hit me up on Twitter, hit GymRat, hit BallietBran up, hit Joker up, hit anybody up that you think you can provide help and value to help push this even further. That's your call to action. For those of you that are sitting in the chat wondering what you could be doing to help more, that's your call to action. Reach out to somebody and just get involved, get more involved.
Change their lives, guys. If you change everyone's lives around you, whether they like it or not, in my case, mostly like, you know, I'm more forced than anything. Just, it's okay, guys. Everyone has their own lane. But helping the people around you be financially successful reaps bigger benefits than having the money itself. And I always say things from the business perspective because I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, we're all just kind of working. Like, this is just work. We love crypto, we love Hex, and this is what we want to do. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. I forgot what I was gonna say, but I just love it. I love it all. Hey guys, guess who said what's up to me in the chat? My man, Rakim Rishal.
It looks like you did,
brother. Hey, thanks for everything you do, yeah, man. And if I ever get in a race, just give me like $1 million to win first place, and I promise I'll win.
Yep, Hexion brought up a good point right here. He says it sucks becoming a millionaire by yourself. That was one of my first thoughts as soon as I understood Hex and got in. When I jumped in, I wanted to get everyone I knew and loved in it with me. I was telling everyone, I was so annoying because I didn't want to get rich by myself, and I kind of instinctively felt that. So thank you for that comment, Hexion. That is so true.
Good point. That is a really good point. It's almost like you're afraid to be by yourself because you know you might get propelled into a situation where others might not understand or in another thing.
Rakim, thank you. Channel donation. Appreciate you guys. Heading to dinner. Talk later. Appreciate that, Rakim. Thank you very much.
You know what you guys just earned?
The flex.
Rakim.
Wow, Rakim. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Rakim, you just changed everything because you're inspiring me right now, and it's amazing. Thank you, Rakim. This channel appreciates it. We appreciate everything you do. Seriously, dude, that was awesome, man. I really appreciate it. Everything you're doing, dude, you're the man.
Yeah, what other community do you have where, you know, people like Rakim or everyone else and anyone else, they're supporting each other. I mean, especially with someone like Rakim, he's not someone that just talks the talk. I mean, like you mentioned, his money's where his mouth is. He's got it on the line. And, you know, to all of the pleb haters, he's saying like, hey, you know, call me on my bluff. Let's see if you're actually going to do this, because most people are just talk. They're not just, you know, walking the walk. So I appreciate people like him and everyone else, once again, kind of, you know, contributing to this effort. Because once again, like you mentioned, with the direct to mail, or whether it's any sort of advertising, onboarding people, it's all pumping, you know, our bags and everyone else's bags, and it's getting people into a financial product that, like GymRat says, 14% inflation. That's a heck ton, you know, and nothing's worse than getting, you know, like a raise from like a traditional job, and it's like, you know, $1 raise, 25-cent raise, whatever it is, and you know that you're just getting screwed over by the inflation.
Yep.
More than screwed over, Bran. I would say bent over in a better life. More like a bent over situation. It feels like that sometimes because, all right, this is my situation as far as work. I make decent money, you know, 2 years ago, making good money, making maybe the same amount of money today, and it's max pain because you just got wrecked. Like, and people could say whatever they want. Oh, just, you know, 14% is 14%. That's a number. That's just happens to be the digit, and that's real. I go to the grocery store to get a steak, and it's like $22. Like, are you kidding me? Not that, you know, I don't need to buy a steak, but it's just like, that's going up. My money needs to go up too, and if I can't get it, you know, you got to get it on your own.
Yep. I mean, everything's been going up. That's what inflation does, and it's like we're being robbed on all sides. It feels like, and then your taxes are just taking everything out. So the best thing we can do is find an asset that appreciates quicker than inflation for sure. And that's what Hex is. That's what Pulse Chain is going to be. That's what PulseX is designed to be as well. So all of these tokens that we're going to have at our disposal, and the network, the blockchain itself, the 3-second block times for Pulse Chain. Aren't you amazed by that, Bran? 3-second block times. You send your transaction, and then before you blink, it's already done. I can't wait for that.
Amazing.
How long does Bitcoin take to do something like that for the people that don't necessarily use crypto? If you guys had to make a guess, you moved $50,000 in Bitcoin. When would you be expecting that?
Well,
who knows?
They're 15-minute blocks, but like Richard's mentioned before, that because you want to wait 6 confirmations for Bitcoin specifically, but just because the average is 15 or whatever, that's what it's supposed to be, doesn't mean that's what it is always. And yeah, Richard's mentioned that he waited like 1 hour just for 1 block confirmation, and that's like, once again, you know, you want multiple confirmations to prove that it's not going to be double spent or that it's actually yours. But yeah, like Luther had mentioned, if you go to scan period v2 period testnet period pulsechain.com, it shows the 3-second blocks, and yeah, it's churning and burning. And once again, it's awesome to just see that not only is Richard doing the hard fork of Ethereum, like Binance and like some of these other people have done that were successful, but it's going to include that system state. So it's like, it's already going to be, you know, utilizing the network and everything else, dude, with the, you know, the non-inflation on Pulse Chain, the non-inflation on Pulse X, completely deflationary. I think those numbers are really going to ramp up into a lot of wealth for us.
I would agree. And I can't, I don't know, the excitement I have just when I think about it. Stop, because I'm not going to, we got to stop talking about that because I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Yeah, I can't. No, seriously, like around bedtime, you cannot get thinking like that. Like,
no,
you really
no.
You can't. You really have to like sit there and you're like, okay, football, basketball, please watch.
Baseball.
please watch and listen. Russell Westbrook, you know the deal. And I'm like, I want to Pulse Chain, Pulse X. I wonder what the interface is going to look like. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you're just like, oh my God. And then I'm over here like, I'm going to have to, because I did a couple separate sacrifices. So here's a little, I got to move a little piece of my sacrifice from one of my compromised wallets. Now I got most of my stuff going other places that's all secure, but I got a little bit going. So I'm going to do a little test and see what happens, but it's going to be on the Pulse Chain. There's going to be no ETH on my account. So I'm a little bit kind of confused because I can't think of the interface necessarily in my head. Like, there's no ETH in my account. Pulse Chain drops into there, and then they would need to inject ETH in order to do anything, of course. So I would just, yeah. Anyway, everyone, listen. If you are curious at all about internet and computer security, please, God, do not do anything else with your wallet. Stop.
Make sure you're using a hardware wallet, 100%.
Go get a new computer, $400, never touch it. Make it your crypto computer forever. Please, guys, I got wrecked. I mean, you know, it wasn't like that. I got some stuff stolen from me. Please, I've doubled down on security now. I've learned a lot. It was good for me. It does not have to happen for you, okay? double down, 2 treasures, get a computer, ask Papa, hexsecurity.telegram. I mean, the hex security telegram, that's all very important. Bran, what's your take on security?
Oh, 1,000%. I definitely echo Luther's words about, I mean, hardware wallets, they're kind of just, I mean, sure, there's any way that you can kind of, you know, people have got different means of doing things that are similar, but for me, yeah, hardware wallet's an absolute must. It's mandatory. And I just like the aspect of it that, like you say, if you have crypto so new, I mean, even though Bitcoin's only 13 years old, you know, it's still so new that, yeah, if you do have any, like the slightest hesitation, I guess, that your wallet or that your operational security might not be up to par, then yeah, don't do anything moving forward. Make sure you kind of know what you're doing from the operational layer of security before doing anything else. Because I'll tell you what, when it comes to, you know, I had the free claim with Hex, you know, the Bitcoin with Hex, I had Ethereum that I did into the adoption amplifier, but as rookie as it is to say, so I was in crypto for years before, but had never used MetaMask, and you had to manually put in the wallet address of the Hex smart contract. And long story short, I had sacrificed, you know, a handful of Ethereum into the contract address versus actually minting it myself.
Oh, I remember you telling us that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things, like GymRat says, or for myself or anyone else, like so many of us have already made those mistakes that try not to be someone that makes those mistakes as well. Like learn from mine, learn from Crypto GymRat, anyone else's. Yeah, go to t.me/hexsecurity, get your security right, and that way, since you are your own bank, you're being responsible for it, not anyone else. You can't just go cry to the government or cry to whoever else if you made a mistake.
That's right. Hexion KF, thank you for the super chat. No message though? Oh, come on, bro. Give me one more message. You don't have to give another super chat, but thank you so much. That is very generous and kind of you, and we appreciate your support. But as far as what Bran was saying, yes, if you have any hesitation in your mind about security, that's your red flag. That's your bottom signal to get your security in place and amp it up better. That was something on the back of my mind for a long time. I was decent at it, and I knew I had some holes and some flaws, and then GymRat got hacked, and his event happened, and that woke me up to realize, oh, I gotta step up my game too. So learn from other people's mistakes. I mean, we've made the mistakes, like Bran was saying, don't do these things, and we're telling you not to do them. Please listen. Please listen.
Yes, everyone makes mistakes in their life. There's some mistakes that people do before you do them. And there's other ones that don't. Like, I've been through life. There was some things I did bodybuilding early on. I was way off track. I was eating like 40 grams of protein a day and like carbs out because I was reading something, and then I realized a year later, I'm way off track. Guys, if there was somebody in front of me that told me that, I probably would have done it. But you're hearing it. I know you're hearing it. I was hearing it too. Okay. I knew I had holes in my security. And I knew it was a bottom signal, but I ain't never heard of anyone. They always said your seed phrase, your seed phrase, your seed phrases. And then it seems like, oh, nobody will get those. But then you find out all these ways that people do that is absolutely, you know, for a non-computer dude, a little confusing. So guys, it doesn't matter if you're smart, dumb, in the middle, 2 treasures, a new computer. Please don't look up porn on your computer. Please look it up somewhere else. Or don't, praise God, don't look it up at all. Okay.
And what's cool is the Hex community has the resources and the people giving their free time. They're not charging anybody for this. There's no service desk. There's no help desk. There is the t.me/hex security, where individuals are volunteering their free time to help you with this. So if you have questions, reach out to that Telegram group. Get in there, start asking the questions, start doing it right. It's the best thing you can do for yourself and your future self.
So true.
That's so true. So true. Once your security's underway, you really, it's like you lost a few pounds.
Oh, you lose like a burden that you didn't even know you had. Yep.
Oh my God, I feel so much better now because I know it wasn't even that. I almost knew that it was too intimidating for me to dive into at the time because I already staked all my coins. I had already staked all my coins. And you know what I mean? And that's where the big problem I have with Hex. Anyone who's Richard, if anyone's watching, guys, those guys that do those stakes early on, I really wish someone told me not to do stakes my first week. I had no idea about MetaMask, seed phrases, anything. I thought I was being very responsible. Because think about it. I was a young man and I told someone my password and I wrote it down and I thought, hey, smart move by me. That was 2 weeks in though. 2 weeks in though to my crypto journey. Like this wasn't like 8 months down the line where I was just making mistakes. I was happy as a clam. Like I was like, oh, T-shares. I had like a couple $100 stakes. Like I was like, this is sick. Learning the interface. And I got really, I mean, it was a whoopsie. Okay. Don't do the whoopsies, guys. We're all here. I made it back. We're all in this product right now. If you're in this product right now, you made it. I don't care if you have a $0 in your Hex account. If you know about it in the system in the T-share, if you understand these concepts, you will win from this point forward. Let's do price predictions.
That's heavy stuff. Security is heavy. Take it seriously. But price predictions? You want to do a price prediction? Okay.
Let's switch to price predictions for the fans of price predictions, because at the end of the day, we all know that we don't know what the price is going to be, guys. But we like to think about stuff and do thought experiments. And I like to think about, where is Ethereum going to be in 2 years? That really excites me. Like, I hope it's kind of down. Like I want Pulse Chain to be dominating it and it to get wrecked, but not all the way wrecked, but just a little wrecked. And what do you guys think? The sentiment of the market, where Pulse Chain's going? Maybe, is it possible with all the economic energy that's in this project already? Maybe these 10,000x numbers are a little too large for those 2 years. You know what I mean? Maybe we should tone it down a bit. What do you guys think?
You want to take it first, Bran?
Yeah. It's tough, like you mentioned. It's all, it's all speculation. None of this is fact. We're all just guessing, and most of the guesses are wrong. The thing that I will say is not a specific number per se with Pulse Chain or Pulse X, but yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't make that bet, I guess, with someone as an example of what Ethereum did was the 2.5 years and 10,000x. I honestly don't see why we couldn't see that with Pulse Chain and Pulse X individually. I mean, we saw it with Hex, with the fundamentals that Hex has, and it did it in like 1.5 years, under 2 years. But as far as the numbers go, I'm not too for sure what those actual numbers would be after the 10,000x and stuff. But I would just say, as a prediction, I don't see why we couldn't do 10,000x on Pulse and Pulse X. And in the 2.5 year time frame, because that's what the initial time frame was for Hex. So that's just my guess.
You think though, with the staking ability in Pulse Chain, that we could see it much quicker? I think we can, with the deflationary part of it as well. My prediction would be the 10,000x within 1.5 years at the bare minimum, right? So I'm excited. I'm really excited just thinking about it, and I'll be staking my Hex or my Pulse Chain with the validators. Have you done any testing on the testnet, Bran?
I mean, the only thing that I have done is just sending transactions back and forth. I know that Richard's got the go.hex.com front end for Pulse Chain. So there was a couple of stakes that I'd actually already ended on the Ethereum network. But long story short, yeah, I did kind of end some stakes on the Pulse Chain network with the test, and that went so quick, dude. Kind of like you mentioned with some of the fees and some of these other things, like it's going to be very small at first with the 25% of the fee and the delegating to validators, but I see it as that snowball kind of rolling down the hill that just gains more mass, and eventually those fees that were being burnt add up to being a lot. But yeah, I would say so.
Giggity. Oh, it's exciting.
PulseX incentive token. Let's bring it up for 1 second. PulseX incentive token. Guys, let's dumb it down for a second. Okay, guys. Explaining a PulseX incentive token to someone who doesn't know crypto is nearly impossible. I mean, to get all the way there from Hex to Pulse to PulseX to incentive token. But guys, we know what we're sitting on right now. I mean, it's no surprise to us. I mean, we're right in the now. We know that. Listen to this: free internet money is at an all-time high. Okay, so if you want free internet money, hit the subscribe button on the official Pulse Chain network right now. We're going to be on BallietBran's channel. We're going to be with Hexo on Friday. We are so excited for the future here. And I really just am so happy. Those super chats really pumped me up. Seeing those guys, knowing they're noticing us, really happy we got this going on, guys. I just got all pumped up with things.
do the flex again. Do the flex again. Somebody was complimenting your sweater vest there. Do your arms just run really hot or something? You got to wear the sweater vest, but your chest is cold.
This is for the biceps. They pop out in this jacket. No, this is what I wear. It's the gym rat shtick, you know. I'm thinking about either being like suit and tie or just gym rat shtick, which I love the gym.
So it's either or. It's nowhere in between.
Oh no, we don't play in between. We're either balling it or we're balling. I'm either wearing a t-shirt and sweats or I'm balling. Like it's like, but most days 99.99999% of the days I'm in a sweat pants and a sweatshirt. Hey, Bran, real quick, you're a retired man, I believe, right?
Yes.
You have quit working actively as an employee, I believe.
Congratulations, by the way.
You are what age? What year were you born, Bran?
So
oh, no, he doesn't need to dox him. Oh, don't do it, Brad. Don't do it.
Only because I've doxed myself before.
Everyone knows how
old
he is.
Yeah, I thought about a lot of this before even making streams in the first place. But yeah, so I'm 25. Yeah, 25, born 96, October 24th. But, you know, the thing that I'll say is, especially kind of when it comes to myself or some of these other Hexicans that I know that are retired, I really wasn't making a whole bunch of money at my job. I mean, I was just dollar cost averaging. I mean, I was making like 20 bucks an hour, you know? And so like whatever I could dollar cost average from, you know, just being frugal and just consistently buying the Hex. And then what I would do is just wait until a certain accumulation, stake it for a whole staking ladder. But the thing that I'll say is what even seems like not that much per hour relative to the standard of living where the people are living, the retirement and just the ability at least to be able to do so with a lot of the stuff going on snuck up on me a lot quicker than I thought it would ever happen. And so I think the same thing is going to happen for other people with Hex in the future, but I would say more so with Pulse Chain and with Pulse X, just because those kind of haven't launched yet. So they might have a similar advantage that, you know, the OG Hexicans, I guess, had that maybe they don't have with Hex.
So with you being retired, Bran, what are some of the things that you've seen with this new life that you've found for yourself that are kind of some pros and maybe some cons that people should be aware of?
Totally. Yeah, I would say, I mean, obviously the pros, right? I don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, nobody does.
You know?
Hopefully.
I think a lot of Hexicans...
It hurts like a bitch, don't it? It hurts like a bitch when someone tells you what to do.
Yeah, dude. God. It's just, you know, especially and you don't want to be there in the first place. So anyways, yeah, as far as kind of like some of the pros and some of the cons, I mean, yeah, I think some of the pros are kind of just being able to buy your time back, be able to have some of your time back and things like that. But also what comes with that is if you're not staying productive and you're not kind of like on your game and doing the stuff that made you successful in the first place, right? Whether it's working out or you know, having a clean diet and stuff, if you kind of just throw away some of those things just because you're retired or just because you think you have this end goal, well, then obviously you're not going to be very happy because you just, you know, sacrificed a lot of that free time for, you know, being lazy and things like that. The thing that I would say is, yeah, obviously a pro is being able to have the time that you want whenever you want to do. But then the con is also just, you know, stay productive and stuff. Because I've had days where it's just like, yeah, you're not really, you know, not being productive, not staying productive. And then you can kind of fall into like a slumber and things like that. So just stay productive. You know, keep good people around you in your life that are going to, and Richard says this in either his Fix the World or Sci-Vibe, but like, you know, the most wealthy and successful people have, whether it's coaches or whether it's people that can kind of like keep them honest and keep them kind of on track. I think that's important. So I've got a few friends that I talk with on almost a daily basis that kind of do the same thing.
So how was that transition for you? Did you fall into some of those pitfalls at first, or were you prepared enough because you had kind of, you know, Richard's knowledge, reading Sci-Vibe and his books and watching and having the community behind you? Do you think you had an easier transition than somebody else that maybe would have gotten to that point in their life through a different route?
I would say so. Yeah, I would definitely say so. And then the same thing too is like, yeah, it's not the end of the world, right? If someone like makes mistakes, has mistakes and things like that. But obviously you don't, like, you know, if you fall on your face, you want to get up on your feet as quickly as possible and then kind of move on to the next thing. And then not repeat things that didn't get you where you are today and things like that. So I would say that, yeah, there's a tremendous advantage, but the other thing is too, is like someone can have all of the information in the world with whether it's self-help or this and what to do, but then there's the actual act of actually doing it. You know, there's the people that know about it and then the people that know about it and do it. So I would say that information is a advantage, but once again, I kind of had to, you know, kind of have a heart-to-heart with myself and just be like, okay, what do I want? What goals do I have? And kind of make some short-term goals to really get back on top of the game and stay productive and not just, you know, let time just dwindle.
Awesome. Are you willing to talk about some of those goals though, real quick first before you bring that up, Jim?
Yeah, for sure. For me, I mean, lately it's like the biggest one is just health. I've been going back to the gym. I mean, four times a week is kind of the consistency that I've been doing. I was going to the gym at my girlfriend's place and we've got some weights here at the house, but that really wasn't, you know, sometimes you need a kick in, you know, you need a kick in the balls or a kick in the ass, you know, to kickstart something and for that thing to actually happen. So I would say that that's been helping tremendously, you know, obviously kind of some of the social aspects and also just, you know, some of the detoxification, right, that you get from a sauna and things like that go. But that's kind of like just my main goal is, you know, the relationships that I have, whether it's with my family or girlfriend, things like that, I like. And I want to keep those as like a priority as well, you know, make sure I can have enough time for the family and for things like this, but then also enough time to, you know, stay rooted, stay focused. So for me, it's just kind of like just weight loss and kind of getting back into, if people see my earlier videos, you know, back into like that kind of just prime weight and just get rid of some of the excess fat. So it's just been weight loss is the main goal currently.
Yeah, you're looking healthier, man. Every time I see you on stream, you're looking better and better.
Sure.
So keep it up.
100%. You do. You look, every time you look healthy over the last year and a half, for sure. I think like when it comes to weight loss and when it comes to gym stuff, it's like what I'm more moving into my entrepreneurial life now. Like I only cared about gym for like 6 years straight. Not like only, but like I like chicks too. So that was about it though. That was about it. It was just like chicks in the gym. And, you know, transitioning out of that for me, it's so funny because it's like the opposite. Like I have to have a heart-to-heart with myself that, Scott, it doesn't matter that much. You don't have to have 4.5% body fat. You can have normal 8.5. You know what I mean? Like I have OCD.
Wait, 8.5's normal? You're insane.
I mean, 8.5's like just like 8.5's my McDonald's weight, and then like 4.5's like my no. But I also have, I'm part of the awareness of intermittent fasting. That is part of my shtick as far as not for a falsification official, but in general, when I'm giving someone advice, it's calorie restriction, guys. First of all, I want to talk about a couple of things for any men. You guys are getting older, and all of us. Heart health, guys. Heart health. And this is not a joke. This is not a joke. You talk to normal people about heart health, and they look at you like you're an idiot. And then you're like, #1 killer of all men. Heart disease. Guys, heart disease is almost 100% preventable. If you are seeing your doctor constantly on a regular basis, please. I'm not saying your doctor's smart. He ain't. They're just like everyone else. But they have tests, blood work. You can research these things. Get a coronary artery calcium score. Go to your doctor. See if you have arteries in your plaque. See if you have plaque in your arteries.
Arteries in your plaque.
Do cardio. Low walking on an uphill trend on or a stair step or cardio, 30, 40 minutes a day. Sauna, great for cardiovascular health. Guys, it's not fun dying when you're 55, I'm sure. And you have a great life. You make all your wealth. Your kids are just getting older, and you drop dead because your heart doesn't stop beating because you hadn't thought about it in 20 years.
Yep. If there's one thing Hex has taught me,
we're going to be here. We're going to be here together.
The long-term goal.
Years.
Yep. I want to be here for my 15 years, and I want to be able to set 15 more year stakes after my 15-year stakes are done. So definitely. I think that's very important. That hopefully is the natural result of thinking long-term financially, as well as within your personal life and those long-term goals. So thank you, Bran, for talking about those goals, because those are something I vibe with as well, and they've been on my mind more and more the longer I've been in Hex. I had a very short-term kind of thinking before I jumped in, and that's been one huge transformation for me, was the long-term view and the long-term goals.
It's cool. It's true, and it's like, it's cool to see that when Richard first created Hex, he just wanted to monetize the time value of money. He never thought that, oh, this is going to be like cool, and like, oh, this is going to make crypto fun again. And that, kind of like you mentioned, I mean, people don't know this, but it was initially going to be like 50 years that you could time lock. But the gas limit for Ethereum limited it to be, 15, the Quattro Cinco. But just the point is that, yeah, kind of like Richard talks about, anything that's kind of worth achieving as far as long term, it all comes from delayed gratification. And kind of like that marshmallow test, like, okay, is the person going to take the thing that's easy today, whether it's not working out, whether it's eating, not healthy, or some of these other things, whether it's, not saving your money and kind of spending it on a daily basis, or are you going to, kind of have that long-term goal or vision that you want to achieve and be working towards that. And, the thing that I'll say that you kind of compounded with is the community, man. Like, the community kind of helps me stay aligned with whether it's health, whether it's fitness, stuff like that, that is really cool to learn from people that are doing those things that you want to be doing every day. So the community kind of helps keep me motivated and strong too.
The community has been huge for me, like life-changing. Like, I didn't expect anything from the community. When I hopped on Twitter, when I first got into Hex, I think I waited a month or two, even after jumping into Hex, to even make a Twitter account or hop on my old Twitter account, I guess. I don't know what it was, but I did not expect the impact that the community's made on my life. And that has been something I didn't foresee, and mind-blowing, and just holy shit is what I think when I think of the community. It's been so great, and I can't even give my love and respect to everyone, because it's too big. It's too big, and we're only getting bigger. But the community is amazing. It's the best community I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, and it's funny because everyone acts like it's the word, like people that don't know, they think it's the legit polar opposite. Like, they think, okay, there's guys out there, capitalists trying to scam you. Everyone thinks we're getting scammed by guys that are richer than us. Everyone, like, that's how always people think. They're like, oh, Richard Hart, you guys are wrecked. And it's just like, can you guys do like an ounce of like extra thought and realize, like, some people don't need money, and some people don't want to ruin their own project in order that they put their face on every 3 days. Like, grow a brain cell, please. Like, someone that puts their face in front of everyone every 3 days. I don't care if he's controversial. I don't care if he if people don't like Hex, maybe he doesn't want to talk to him, whatever. It doesn't matter. This dude's putting his absolute balls on the line. Everything. Imagine if something happened, how devastated he would be. And he's sitting there, right there, taking it square to the face. He says, I'll take it. And we all trust him because we know his intentions, because he laid his whole situation out on the table.
Well, you could tell he cares. You could tell he cares. You don't see any other founder or any big CEO personally tweeting or getting into people's tweets and offering them support and kind words and stuff like that. You don't see them going to the community meetups and all those things. It's just amazing. You don't see that in any other founder or big CEO company at all. Elon's not doing that. Mark Cuban's not doing that, right? They're pumping Doge and then they're dumping it maybe, but there you have it.
All these business guys, they're sick. I mean, when you really have somebody lay it out for you, because guys, let me be real for you. I had no one lay it out for me. I had no clue. Until I started watching Richard Hart streams, I had not a fucking clue what was going on. Not one, because I learned everything, and then 300 days later, I confirmed everything. Because everything he said 300 days ago when I started watching him came true. Exactly.
Time tells.
Almost like he called the top on the day or something.
Or something.
Crazy,
no,
man.
it was
really
the day.
Has knowledge above us all in the field of crypto. And we sometimes just have to defer to the experts.
Yeah. If you look at his track record, I mean, I know I had been following him and many other people in 2017, And when Richard had called the top, you know, once again, he took a lot of flack for it. A whole bunch of people were like, oh, you know, Richard thought it was the top, what an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? Like, yeah, took a whole bunch of flack for it, but ended up being right. But then how many people actually, like, still accredit that success to him? Like, no, they kind of withdraw that, you know, that recognition or you know, kind of like the praise, at least for getting it right and having the balls to you know, put his name out there and his reputation out there. So, yeah, I think it's cool, and yeah, man, we got a freaking team full of winners, man. I got this from a long time ago. This is one of the Hex Toys hats that they used to have, but like the Hex Force, you know, Hex Space Force, you know, and that's kind of the way.
Wow,
that's a sick hat. I like that hat.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, exactly. It's an oldie for sure. But yeah, we really are kind of like a Hexagon Space Force type of deal, and I love to see the abundance mentality, not the scarcity mentality. And I love to see people lifting each other up and all succeeding together. That's exactly what Richard's doing. Yeah,
and that positive framing is huge. From coming from a scarcity mentality, you're kind of stuck in a negative framing in a way. And switching from that to abundance and positive framing has a much larger impact on your life as a whole than you can even imagine. Like, my whole life has been changing right before my eyes, just being able to try to train myself in this new way of thinking and belief and thought patterns. It's amazing.
I feel like you took care of a lot of your hormone protocol when you said you went through a transformational experience maybe in the last 2 years, and it seems like you've really gained your natural essence. I mean, from what you told me, from your way you were before, it's like, I mean, you're really pushing hard. I mean, you're acting like a man, and it seemed like before you had to transition into that, and you're really with Hex, like it's expanding to the next level, because I know it is with me. It's like, because I'm going through maybe like not that kind of stuff, but I was like, what am I going to do for work? I'm lost, like that kind of vibe. And then Hex just really reassures you, and it gives you that when you throw a 5555 out there, and you know you're getting those T-shares cranking. I don't care if you have one T-share for 5555. You're crushing everyone by hundreds of %. Every hedge fund, everything. You're destroying them. You're literally, it's not even close. They get 20% and they get a raise for 3 years straight. It's like you get 20% here and everyone calls you a wrecked pleb. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. I love Hex. I love what the transformational experience that it creates in us. I am absolutely transformed since I found Hex. I don't even care about working out anymore. I want business. I want relationships. Well, of course I want to work.
Uh-oh, 12% body fat incoming.
No.
Look at his face.
I still look good at 12. No, I know what you're saying though, but yeah, no, it's easy to get complacent, but I put myself out here as a gym rat, okay? I'm putting myself out here as a gym rat. Gym rat's not allowed to be fat in 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna look cool being gym rat and being, yeah, like, that was almost a calling to myself. Like, this is where you should be. Like, not everyone else. Everyone else has different journeys, but like this for you is so impactful in my life, proportional to the value. But then there was a tweet earlier, pretty controversial in my opinion. Somebody mentioned Richard Hart was overweight. And I commented on it, and I had a little blurb about genetics. I said, first of all, I ate McDonald's last night, 3 double cheeseburgers and a large fry. Okay? My abs look pretty good.
A little swollen, maybe.
Not everyone has the same experience with their bodies, guys. I could stay lean basically doing a little minimally. Now I'm pretty extreme and I'm trying to do this stuff, but guys, seriously, when it comes to working, if you have a business, double down on the business. If you have to. Now, if you need, of course, if you have time, work out. But when it comes to it, guys, Richard Hart is a little bit busy, I'm sure.
Well, he's aware of it and he's pointed it out. I mean, it's not a surprise to anybody or him, so yeah, it just is what it is.
Some people could work out every day of their life and they would never look like me. And there's guys at the gym I could work out every day of my life and I'll never look like them because they look better. You know what I mean? Just be the best you. Be the best you could be. If you want to look slim in a shirt, that's good. And that's where I like slim in a shirt, slim in shorts, slim in pants. And that's good for me. Okay, guys, you don't have to be ripped. Just be fit, be ready for life. You're ready to move. You know what I mean? What if something happens? You want to be ready to go. You got to, something happens, Luther, in the street. You know shit happens.
Yep.
People get robbed. People's women get robbed.
That's why I don't go out on the streets anymore.
Well, me neither. Me neither, dude. I'm literally like here in my car.
You look at me, I don't have a tan. I need a tan. I need some sun.
When you stake Hex, it automatically makes you scared to die. It's like you're like before Hex, you're like, oh, I don't care if I die. And then after Hex, you're like, oh, I don't want to die. Shit's getting so lit.
Well, it looks like the qualifier's about to start. Should we end this so everyone can go watch the qualifying event?
Can you? Is that something that
That's for NASCAR.
No, but the car's going to be moving around the track?
Yep, going around in circles.
Oh, yeah. I have a few words just to end outro for Pulsification Network in general. Guys, here we have a few goals. We want women, we want top tier interviews, and we want to spread the word in a really fun way, connecting everyone. We don't want hate here. We want alliance. We were going to be here for a long time. Bran, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yes, thank you, man.
You have no idea how much I love that you're interacting. You invite us to your stream before we start. Oh, Luther, I haven't done a stream with you yet. Dude, let's set it up. Like, guys, have a good attitude. Luther, you got anything?
Thank you again, Bran. This was an awesome interview. I appreciate you coming on, and just let me know when you want me on your show, man. I will come on any day of the week for you.
Awesome. No, yeah, I'll message you after this and we'll get something going. But yeah, no, I appreciate it as well. I mean, once again, this community is you're so much stronger together than you are, separate. And when you've got like a link, like a chain link that Richard talks about, well, I mean, hey, that weak link, you don't want that thing to be weak. Like our weakest link is still very strong. And I love that we're making everyone's link stronger together, and once again just succeeding together. So yeah, thank you for what you guys are doing here. Everyone in the chat, Rackham and the other person that had donated as well, the Hexian KF, and once again we're all on team win together, one day at a time.
Yes, thank you all. Any closing words there, GymRat?
Guys, I hope you have a great night. Hey, support the NASCAR thing, guys. Whether you're a NASCAR guy or not, I'm gonna flick it on. Maybe throw a tweet out there, get a retweet going. Guys, there's some guys putting in a lot of work. Let's support them.
Yeah, it looks like you could watch it for free on Fubo TV. Free trial is the way to watch. I'll throw that up back up on the screen for anybody that doesn't know how to watch yet. Fubo TV free trial. Thank you, Maltcoiner. All right. Have a good evening, everyone. Enjoy the NASCAR qualifying event. We'll see you next time.
Hey, Brandon.